welcome to Batsman Studio. It's been a little while. I haven't posted a video in a little while. In the process of moving, so here I am in my new home and a new video. So I'm very excited because this is a new series of videos where I focus primarily on the primary colors, this one being yellow. Now, yellow has been used since the ancient times as a pigment, so it's been around for a very long time. And in famous paintings, you'll remember the painting, probably one of the most famous yellow on yellow paintings, which is Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers, which focuses on basically yellow sunflowers against a yellow background. So a very complex and very complicated and difficult thing to do. However, it's a very good lesson in values, how to make something pop out from the background, even though they're the same color, but not necessarily the same hue. I'm going to go into that with the painting that I'm going to show you. I'm going to actually do a small still life, which also will be yellow on yellow. So thank you for joining me. Sit back and relax and enjoy this new video from Batsman Studio. And here we have our still life of lemons. So you can see it's a beautiful setup of yellow on bright yellow. So as usual, we start with a very simple drawing on canvas. I already toned my canvas, so just the shapes. As I've gone in from previous videos, you just start with geometric shapes using a very fine round brush. No detail, of course, and just placing the objects where they should be on the canvas. That's all I'm doing. It's a pretty relatively simple still life in terms of composition, and keeping it very open and loose, just indicating where things are. Now I've established the shadows, and now I'm just going to lay in the color, which is this beautiful, like golden yellow. And I put in the background, and now the yellow on the lemons, which is a slightly different yellow than the yellow in the background. And I'm continuing to block in, adding the shadows. And you can see I'm just keeping everything very loose. And using this very rich gold yellow, which is actually chrome yellow. And establishing the lights, basically, lights and the darks. And you can see the shadows are really soft, so there's also shadow on the ground. And I've established the light on the ground, just showing where light is coming from. And just placing the highlights. Again, I'll embellish it later, but just placing where they are. And while the paint is still wet, I could smooth out areas. And you can see I established where everything is, and just smoothing out the shadow areas. And making sure I'm getting the right roundness to each lemon. And now the yellows it may be an all yellow setup, but the yellows, again, as I said, are not the same and are different tones. Some yellows are darker or lighter, some are more on the orange side, as you can see. So these are things you have to practice. You could try it with white on white, yellow on yellow, red on red, but you have to look at and train your eye to see different tonalities. So here I'm again establishing the roundness of the objects, just cleaning up a little bit of the areas. Making sure I cover as much as I can. And getting there. And then going in, softening while the paint is still wet. just softening shadows, sometimes correcting shadows. Again, using this very brilliant yellow, which is actually a chrome yellow that I'm using, which is very bright. Actually, it's the same yellow Van Gogh used for his sunflowers, interestingly enough. And just establishing a really rich tonal value here with a golden yellow. Remember, trying to make things round and softening edges. That's the purpose right now. And doing the same for this lemon, where I'm softening edges and adding a bit of more of a highlight just to pop it out a little bit more. And I can blend it, making sure the edges are soft, depending on how much pressure I put on the brush. And doing the same for each lemon. And then just going back and, again, softening edges. Remember, it's about the amount of pressure you put. At this point, I'm using a very gentle, soft strokes. So you can see there's a lot of beautiful shadows and some detailed shadows. So we're going to add those too. And here I'm just like softening some of the mid shadows on the lemon, giving it more of a roundness. With training, you can actually see a lot more than what's there. You think it's just simply yellow, but it is so many variations, actually. So many variations of yellow. And again, it's a very good practice to try the yellow on yellow or blue on blue painting. It trains your eye to see things more clearly. It trains your eyes to mix colors, to give yourself a challenge. It's always good to give yourself a challenge that trains you. Doing the difficult things are what teaches you. So I'm just softening each lemon, going one by one, basically. And you can tell there are very soft shadows, a lot of reflected light. There's yellow reflecting off the fabric onto the yellow lemons. And here I'm just going back again with pretty impasto loaded brushes, just going around and rounding off objects. And making sure I keep that glow, keep the colors fresh and vibrant. So luckily for me, a lot of the paint is still wet, so I could just move it around basically. And then even working on the background, I know that the background's darker than the lemons, so that's why we see them. And I'm just pushing the background a little further back since it's a different tone. So that yellow has a little bit of red in it. And you can see I'm almost complete. Now I'm just like softening shadows, going anywhere I can to apply like the finishing touches. If I forgot like a shadow or I forgot to soften it, now is the time to do it. And again, I could do this because the paint is still wet, so I could just move it around the way I want. And you can see there's a few more deeper shadows on the lemon, so I could work on those. Sort of the smaller drawings, smaller drawing stages. I can go back and I can add like deeper shadows or smaller details with a slightly smaller brush and a darker color. just to pop things out a little bit more. At this point, it's okay to exaggerate as well. And now using a smaller brush, just fixing part of the drawing just to make it stand out more. And again, deepening a few shadows, using practically chrome yellow and maybe a little red, tiny bit of red, just to make the color a little darker. And you can see it's pretty golden. It's like, there's a pretty golden glow to it. And again, just going back and deepening like any shadows I can just to push it out more. The fun part for me is when you add all these like finishing touches. It's just, it adds like a certain character to it. And you don't have to do this in one day. Of course, you do it in sessions. And then just working on the background, just cleaning up. I call this the cleaning up stage, where you just go and you look at everything and you make sure everything is aligned well and that you're not missing anything and that it's finished and clean. So you just go around and you look. Because remember, you're showing the actual final painting off, right? And you want to make sure you're saying as much as you want to say. That there's no more to be said. And you can see there's some beautiful details in the still life. So, and that beautiful yellow all over. And I'm just going to go around again, just softening the background. So you want to work all around your painting. You just don't want to concentrate on the main subject, but the background also makes the foreground. Everything helps. And then just softening any of the deeper shadows that I see. One of the final touches of this painting. This will make the painting and the objects stand out a little bit more. And these are pretty transparent touches of shadow, actually. Very, very light. And finally, just putting, again, finishing the background and adding like a golden tonality to everything. And then we're done. And we could call this painting finished. Well, thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for new videos coming soon. I will do another yellow on yellow painting or demonstration. And then we're going to focus on a different primary color. I'm not going to say which one yet, but now, of course, all the primaries are yellow, blue, and red. So it's one of those. So remember, if you have subscribed, I thank you very much for subscribing and supporting this channel. If you have not, please subscribe to this channel to see new videos coming soon from Bassman Studio. Any suggestions, any questions, of course, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. And remember, go out there, be creative. Don't be afraid to express yourself. And I'll see you next time on Bassman Studio. Have an amazing and creative day, everyone.